Arcane season 2 as of yesterday has fully concluded, and fucking wow. Like, it's just fucking amazing how from part 1 to part 3, act 3, whatever the fuck. But every act like fucks so hard in its own way. I absolutely loved every bit of season 2. So, before I get into act 3, I want to talk about how people view each act as a potential season and should have been. And I honestly, I disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly because each act hit so hard because it was compact, didn't stray away from its stories needlessly. Every scene had purpose to propel each story arc forward, which makes a lot of sense, right? But if you want to go ahead and dilute everything, it'll go ahead and make things worse, right? You don't need all this empty space, empty scenes, and you could go ahead and add purpose to them, but I don't think it would hit the same as it does now with how compact and put together it all is. Look, I don't blame people for wanting more of these stories, more of these characters, more depth in these acts and stories. I don't blame them. I see their point of view. It's just that for me, I like how each act is short and sweet and get to the point of their story to go ahead and develop it into the next act, until its conclusion. But for the sake of the argument, let's say each act was its own individual season. What would they do to fill out the parts of the season that wasn't covered up in its own act, right? For act 1, I don't really see much what they could do. Maybe they could go ahead and develop more of the more cat and mouse game of Caitlyn and Jinx going on and Vi in there like, hey, chill out. Like, we could have had more of the enforcers that Vi was with, like the whole group, and how they went ahead and did their own like special missions over there in like the lower area of Piltover or whatever, right? it could have been interesting, but it could have been seen as filler. I think they did great with everything because they didn't allow too much filler or any filler, right? Everything had purpose, right? That's why I'm so against like expanding these parts in like these acts into their own season, because I don't want anything to feel like filler, right? I don't want like these points to ring hollow because of we had needless over explanation of everything, right? I don't want that. I can definitely see why people think that Act 2 could go on ahead and be its own season with Vander and how he got to how he was and like his experiments and exploring more of his mind and how he got there, and we could have gotten more moments with him being lucid and being able to talk and everything. That could have been really great to see and expanded on until he gets turned into a massive monster. Well, more than he was already. I don't think Act 3 could have been its own season, but I can definitely see it having another episode to help digest everything a little bit more, to help like spread everything a little bit more to get a better picture, right? Episode 9 could have been like the initial invasion of Ambessa's forces, and then it could have ended off with Victor going ahead and sending like his robot people or whatever, his sleepless, tireless army to do whatever, and we could have gotten episode 10 being half of what episode 9 initially was, and with the extra time had more epilogue, had more stuff to see everybody what everybody's doing, especially fucking Echo. I would have loved that. I would have loved that a lot. But yeah, I don't blame people for wanting more because the series is actually baller as fuck, and I can't wait to see more. I want the story to focus not just on Piltover, I want it to expand and focus on other characters and stories. That's what I really like. But let's stop talking about like the little stuff around the season, right? The bullshit. And let's talk about the actual part 3, act 3, and man, like even if it was like to the point and just going ahead and having his own stories and culminating to like what happened in episode 9, it's incredible. Episode 7 was so bittersweet and probably my favorite episode out of this part. Jay's being propelled into a future where they all failed to stop Victor, Echo, and Heimerdinger going to another universe, I suspect, I guess. That isn't perfect, but better than his own universe where Vi was the one that passed and everyone else lived. Powder is still Powder, and here they give us a glimpse into this version of Echo, and Powder's relationship, and how they're actually like having like a romantic relationship, which I thought was really cool, really sweet. But also, as I said, bittersweet, as it hurt to see. It also hurts to see Jace go through everything that he went through and was sent to kill Victor, right? But with Echo, man, that shit must hurt him so much that this is the future, this is the version of like of his neighborhood and everything that he would have loved to be in. But he just has to accept that that's not his universe, that's not his world. And when he did go home, he looked like he wanted to stay, of course. But yeah, it was just such a bittersweet episode. I love this episode so goddamn much, man. Like, it's just wow. Like what could have been is what this episode like really emanates, right? Because it's not perfect. Like, everybody's not living their happy go lucky lives, right? Vi is dead in this universe. Like, she's dead. Like, this isn't a perfect universe where everybody is alive, right? But it's much better than what Echo has. And even that universe, he wanted to stay. He loved it so much, but he knew that it wasn't his and that he had to go back to save his own universe, which honestly, Echo is that fucking guy. Like, he topped Victor for being my top like character of Arcane. I fucking love Echo. Episode 8 focuses on the present day and how Mel has come back with newly awakened powers, Victor and Ambessa joining forces, and Jace trying to recruit anyone and everyone for the war against them. We get Vi and Jinx talking to each other, and Jinx is feeling like she wants to end it all because of what happened with Isha, and she is just torn apart. She then leaves Vi in her cell and goes off to, destroy everything that means a lot to her, right? Just like Silco's chair and like the bar and so on. She went ahead and did all that until Echo stops her from trying to kill herself. And even when she did, he would rewind time with his time warp thingy and talks her out of it. Caitlyn would go ahead and release Vi, and they would go ahead and have sex in their cell. It's it's pretty wild. I'm pretty sure the fandom loves it. I do see that people are like, why is she just having sex with Caitlyn when she needs to go find Jinx from stopping her from potentially like killing herself, right? And I don't know what to say to that, right? I definitely do think that it's a little bit of an oversight. I don't know. Maybe it's been hours. Maybe it's been like a day or two since Jinx left her in the cell. Maybe she's already gone, or maybe like her interpretation of breaking the cycle is just leaving. I don't know. Maybe they should have been a little bit more clear with that, but we all kind of knew that she meant suicide, right? And she was about to do it, and without Echo, she would have been dead. She would have been dead. But like I think it's fine. Like this whole sequence of things are fine. I don't really care about like how like that whole indiscrepancy is, but everything went ahead and it worked out. That's the only best thing I can really say is that it worked out. It gave the fandom what it wanted. It gave Echo and Jinx some time to talk and do things or whatever. It's fine. For me, it's fine. Episode 9 focuses on a big battle, and yes, it jumps into it. But I can see why. But I would have loved if they dragged it out a little bit more. But surprisingly, like this episode in itself had a lot of death in it, man. Like in episode 7, we had the supposed death of Heimerdinger, who, brings Echo back to their timeline. Our silent boy Nolan, I'm pretty sure that's his name, big old buff dude who helped Vi, dies trying to manning the gun to fight against Ambessa's forces. And Maddie, man, I didn't expect her to be a fucking spy for Ambessa, but the way she got killed by Mel by redirecting her bullet trying to kill Caitlyn back to her fucking brain, oh my god, that was fucking incredible. It was great. It was great to see. And the final battle had so much like NPC, like regular guy deaths. Like it was really fucking cool to see. Like everything, all the deaths and battles were cool to see. Then when Ambessa's forces are getting the upper hand and, our side is getting, is about to get defeated, Jinx and Echo and others who didn't join the battle at first joined, and the battle, reignited again, and the war, started up again. Ultimately, it comes down to Ambessa versus Caitlyn and Mel. Jinx and Vi versus a mind-controlled Warwick, and Jace versus Victor, and Victor is in his new form, which is, fucking crazy, by the way. And everything was just badass to see, and Ambessa went out how I expected, like a bitch. I think Ambessa's death is perfect for her because she didn't have a grand death or anything. She just died in darkness for the most part. The biggest thing that went ahead and killed her was Dark Rose, and nobody could really see it. And that's a good thing because fuck her. She doesn't deserve a warrior's death at all because of how blinded she was, how crazy she was. She thought she could control Victor, right? And I see a lot of people complaining that why does she think she can control Victor at all, right? He's on some god level type shit. And that's the thing, everybody. She is so blinded by her ambition and greed. She thinks she can go ahead and control Victor because she has gone through her entire life treating people like weapons, like tools. And that's what she thinks Victor is. And, she's fucking dead wrong, right? She can't control Victor, but she's blinded by her by her greed and her ambitions, right? To think that she can go ahead and do all that. And that's what makes her dangerous. And that's why they had to take her out. And that's why her death being so, unremarkable stands she's just a regular person, right? And even the Black Rose was like, as somebody who isn't talented, she's been a thorn in her side. And yeah, she has gone ahead and done so many things that somebody who doesn't have magic or anything has, done. Like, she's done incredible things, but these incredible things are at a cost of so many lives, so many people's fates and futures. It's a great death for somebody who doesn't deserve shit. Vi and Jinx versus Warwick was pretty cool to see as well. They weren't winning, of course, because Warwick is like super upgraded now. He's not taking no fucking damage. But what stole the show was Jace and Victor. Seeing Victor basically take control of everyone's minds and basically bringing everyone into his whole hive mind thing, even Jace. And when everyone thought Victor had won, right? Here comes the fucking GOAT, Echo, the prodigal son. He came in clutch and helped win it all and gave Jace the time in the hive mind to show Victor what he saw in the future, and that the man that sent him on his journey, not only to stop him, but to be there for him, was him. This would cause both Victor and Jace to disappear in some big old explosion phenomena where they're just gone. And Vi and Jinx would still be fighting Warwick after being freed from Victor's control. And it would seem like Jinx sacrificed herself, but we all know she's alive. The TikTok sleuths already deduced that she already went ahead and did her whole little speed thing and pimped off away from the actual explosion. And at the very end, we see a ship leaving port, and it does like her whole little effect. And we expect and we assume that she's on the ship leaving, breaking the cycle, right? Because that's what she wanted to do when she wanted to go ahead and kill herself, but not here. I'm pretty sure Warwick will be fine too. He regenerates and so on. And yeah, overall, the season ends with everyone getting back to their lives. However, I have one complaint. Why the fuck is Sevica, Sevica? Whatever her fucking name is, on the fucking council? Where the fuck is Echo? Did I somehow miss him? Was he at the council? I don't know. Why the fuck was Echo not there? Maybe I'm blind. I don't know. What the fuck? Echo needs his props. I don't think he's dead or anything. I think he was just, knocked out because of the explosion and everything. But yeah, I just want my boy Echo to get more props than that because he saved everyone's ass. Vi and Caitlyn are living together, and it seems like that one doctor guy's daughter has woken up and in her whole new body, I suppose. And there are plenty of cameos of characters who didn't actually show up and so on, but they had their familiars or whatever, like the Crow. I forget the character where it's from, but everyone was going crazy about it, and for the most part everyone has had a decently happy ending all around, right? Which is nice, which is really good. The show is definitely an experience, and it's fucking good. It's really good. For me, I had to give it a 9 out of 10 because I definitely see if they had added a 10th episode within their plans to make episode 9, like the siege of Ambessa versus Piltover's forces, and then episode 10, we see the actual battles, and they were a little bit more drawn out to shine a little bit more before they concluded, and maybe we had an epilogue, a more in-depth, more longer epilogue. It could have been even better, right? It could ended off even more sweetly, but I understand what they did, and it's all great. I do feel like this is a great way to end this set of stories for these characters, and we should move on to the next set of characters or character now that the world of Arcane has a sturdy fan base to it. Arcane has had a wild ride, but man, it's all fucking good. Like, I'm still thinking about Echo and Powder in that other universe being a thing and wanting more of Echo, like, you know, being happy and being the MVP, being that good boy that he is. And Victor always have been my favorite. I just love the dynamic between him and Jace, their brotherhood. And I just loved it. It just great. It was just honestly great. The romance between Jace and Mel wasn't really deepened much past Act 1, which is a shame. But it is good to see Vi and Caitlyn doing their thing. Vi and Jinx's relationship through this season was so great. It was like how it healed, how it went back to the root of the sisters, like taking care of each other. Just honestly phenomenal, right? And if you haven't watched this series, give it a watch. It's a fucking blast. The music choices are dope, like the visuals, the stories, the lore within. It's also fucking great, man. Every act of season 2 is a banger. Season 1 and its development of each character makes it all that more impactful to watch, like season 2, because you actually see them grow and evolve, and especially when things get tough, and it's just great. It's a great show. It has become one of my favorites, and now with my review said and done and me just sputtering out a bunch of bullshit, tell me your thoughts and opinions on the show now that it's over. Do you expect more, and do you want more Arcane? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe mentally, emotionally, and physically, and see you guys later. Peace.